Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3. Excuse me. All right, so Jussie Smollett. Not sure if you guys all know about that. I'm sure you do. It's everywhere. It's all over the internet. And this guy is an actor on some show called Empire. I've never seen the show personally, but this happened in Chicago, Illinois. What's going on with Cook County? It seems a lot of strange things happening in Cook County, but Cook County prosecutors on Tuesday announced that they had dropped all charges against Empire star Jussie Smollett after previously charging the actor with 16 felony counts of disorderly conduct for allegedly staging a hoax hate crime on himself and reporting it to police. This stuff is really hard to read just because it's almost like the case did a complete 180. But what happened, and I was trying to find the Facebook article that I saw, is that Smollett, well, the Chicago police released a, sorry, I shouldn't be multitasking here. The Chicago police released some very important documents, and the timing of it is also interesting. Even though these are redacted documents, there are two documents. One is 22 pages. The other is, I believe, 39 pages. And I had a hard time finding these PDFs, so I just downloaded them to my website, put them on there, and I will add them to the description of this video. In fact, I think I'm going to do that right now before I forget, since I was supposed to do that last time. It's just easier. Let me see. I don't know if I can edit. This is all new to me, by the way, so we're all learning here together, hopefully. Hopefully it's not too annoying. I guess we'll find out, but it is odd that the guy is just free, right? All of a sudden you have the police saying one thing, and then the prosecutor gets involved, who is already kind of shady. This prosecutor, she's pretty shady, I would say. And now it's everything. Is this a distraction? Is that what this really is? Hey, Butterfly, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. 2 days in a row. You're awesome. Hope you'll join us Friday, too, for another show. Not here, but we will be talking about David Crowley. So a lot of interesting views on that. This deep state issue, the gray state, I wonder if it's a connection. Deep state, gray state, same thing. Is this partially what we're seeing here, where this Jussie Smollett gets pretty much... Oh, I smelled Smollett wrong, by the way. But he pretty much just gets off with nothing. And ties to Jesse Jackson. Really, he's going to do charity with Jesse Jackson, the guy who might have been involved in Martin Luther King's death? I mean, come on. I'm not buying that. So, a lot of interesting things here. But now you see the cast of characters that are a part of this story. And that's where the focus for the police should be. It was odd. It was really odd when I was watching the police chief. Let me pull that up here so I can act like I know what I'm talking about, right? It's really odd, and now they're being silent. So this is from Blue Lives Matter, defensemaven.io. That's where you can find this. Chicago PD starts sharing Smollett case file, then court orders them to stop. Very interesting. These things usually happen in a cover-up if there's some government informant involved, if there are some deeper ties, the deep state ties. That could be one reason. But now you have two instant actions here that to me kind of trigger that this could be deep state versus deep state kind of thing, and somebody got caught, and now I think this goes high. I do believe this is connected to the Obama administration at some level. There are ties. They're all friends. They're all part of the same circle, same city, Chicago, right? So it's one big happy family. But one guy who is not happy would be the Chicago police chief. And he was definitely not happy. But everything that was released, I was going to try to find some here to read it to you. But this, I mean, the whole thing really, really stinks. And it stinks because, uh, not just because it's, a fake another hoax against Donald Trump, against our president. I mean, this is something. If you reverse those roles, and if you see, okay, if this was a pro-Trump guy, I don't think, I think they would have thrown the book at him. Obviously, there's definitely a double standard here. But when the the Chicago mayor Rahm Emanuel and the police superintendent Eddie Johnson were taken by surprise when the charges were dropped and said that they were very unhappy. I watched the press conference that they both held, and that press conference, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, Rahm Emanuel, how the hell did we come to the point where I'm agreeing with this guy, or where this guy is starting to make sense to me? There's something weird going on, something staged, I think. Some very, very strange things that are going on. But if you can read those documents, there's one that's 22 pages, the first one, and there's a second one that's 39 pages. I did add those. Oh, let me save my changes. Saving my changes now so you can download those directly. I was looking for these two PDFs that came out, and I get frustrated easily when I can't find it, when it is not easily accessible. So as soon as I found it, I made sure to download it and make it easy for people so you don't have to go to, I think, Scribd. I was looking at Scribd, and it's like I have to sign up and all this stuff. And then I was looking at some of these other things from my mobile app. From my mobile phone, I could not download these documents. But I think it's very important that people get to read these documents, see what was redacted. So far, it just looks like phone numbers, address, stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has had a chance to go through this. If you have, I'd love to hear your views on this, and we can find out how deep this goes, because it did seem like a slam dunk case. It was like open and shut, right? I mean, this guy was guilty. All right, let him do his time, and then hopefully he'll learn his lesson. But no, that's not the game that's being played here. It's going deeper. It's going into theater mode. So that's where things start really making me interested. And then when documents are released that probably shouldn't have been released, or now they're ordered to not release any more documents, that also raises some red flags. And just with Jesse Jackson and Rahm Emanuel being involved raises red flags with me personally. So Rahm Emanuel said that Smollett was getting special treatment. Where is the accountability in the system, the mayor asked. I mean, this guy's going to talk to us about accountability. Wow. And he says, I stand by the fact of what we produced. If they want to dispute those facts, the place to do that is in court. So I do hear that the police union is going to try to take this to the federal level, which is awesome. I think that's great. And for them, obviously, it's not about Trump, because they're not Trump people or anything like that. But it does make them look foolish. And then I read something that said that this Jussie Smollett guy is even thinking about suing the city over what happened. And some of the comments that he said, that the Smollett guy said, if you didn't know better, and if you weren't looking at this on your own, you would think that Jussie Smollett is innocent, that he did nothing. He's still clinging to that theory that he did nothing wrong. It's odd. It's very, very odd. I don't understand why at this point, being caught, why he wouldn't just give in. But I also always thought that it wasn't just about him, that somebody was, he may not have been a part of it to the fullest extent, definitely. And I definitely don't think that it was just him and these two other guys that came up with this conspiracy to create this hoax. And to create this hoax that would purposely hurt Donald Trump. Going back to the book, The Russian Hoax by Greg Jarrett, which I do think everybody should read, because it does tie into this story too. It's another hoax against Trump. How many stories have you heard about people who have said that they were attacked by Trump, by pro-Trump people, and then that turns out not to be true. Now, I have some friends that were telling me, because I was like, well, you know what? Why shouldn't I feel free to, if I wanted to, not saying I wanted to, but the more that I see the resistance, the more that I do want to. But why shouldn't I feel free to wear whatever hat I want to wear? What country am I in? Why shouldn't I feel free to wear a pro Donald Trump hat? I see pro Hillary Clinton stickers. I see pro Bernie Sanders stickers, pro Ron Paul, pro everything. I see very few pro Trump stickers where I'm at here in California. And that's okay, as long as it's not because people don't want their car to be vandalized. So my friend was like, well, before you do that, before you get a Trump bumper sticker, make sure that you get some vandalism insurance, things like that. And it's like, man, what country is this? Where do we, how did we get here? Who cares? Who would care? Why would I care what somebody else's view is about Donald Trump, about Barack Obama? I never cared then. Why would I start caring now? I'm getting back to my channel here. So thanks everybody for joining me. I know I had a couple hiccups there. Had to start a new stream, so I do appreciate everybody who was looking at the old stream. But hey Jerome, good to see you too. Butterfly, always awesome. Lily Blue, thanks for joining us. And you're right, yeah, they should. And the police are going to fight back. So Lily Blue, I'm happy about that. I know you are. I know a lot of people are. So I guess Jussie Smollett was gonna sue the city for probably for false allegations or something. I don't know, for ruining his reputation that he's had since he was a 15-year-old kid. It's all smoke and mirrors, because if they ever do that, then all of the real documents that they're trying to hide right now will come out. So I'd love to see what those other documents are. It's good that the police took it to the federal level, because now we might have a better chance of getting those documents that will come out, right? So appreciate everybody joining me. I'm going to try to be a little more interactive here. It's been a long day. I'm sure it's been a long day for a lot of you too, who are not on the West Coast. It's probably earlier, depending on how it is. But we're here. We're here. Yes, Jerome. Thank God for all of us here who use critical thinking. Critical thinking is very important. Critical thinking often means that, we're going to find many things that we disagree on, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having disagreements on this stuff. And there's nothing wrong with with at some point walking away, right? In the social media world, I call it blocking, but try not to get there. Try to go there, and every so often I'll go back and try to unblock people too. So, it's like when I was growing up as a kid, we didn't have all this social media stuff. We had the phone. We didn't know who was calling us when we picked it up. You pick it up and that's it. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, but that was it. The way to block people before social media and before this whole internet craze was to just not communicate with that person. So it doesn't have to be anything more than that. Butterfly Kisses says something is seriously going on. I think you're right. Something is seriously going on. I think this goes very, very high. This goes, and it's not like it's Obama. Remember, Obama was at the bottom level of whatever this structure was, whatever this power structure was, this deep state structure, if you want to call it that. I think deep state is I use it as a loose term, like a global government. It's not like a bunch of people are all on the same page and they're creating this government and taking over everything. It's different factions, different groups, like mafias, things like that. So it's all the same thing, just on a bigger level. You guys know what I'm talking about. Probably know more than what I know. So Denise Q, thanks for joining us. Denise, she says they just open themselves up to two problems: the fools who will attempt to make false claims to see if they can get away with it, and those who will be racially attacked and not be believed. Great point. Great point. I think the police made that point too. I think they also were like, hey, I think Rahm Emanuel might have made that point. And again, it's like, it's a great point, but it's just, anyways. But yeah, it really is a great plan. And maybe that was part of the whole plan. Maybe that was part of their plan, that they would create this situation because something's coming, because they're prepping for something. And so butterfly kisses, when you say, it's deeper, yeah, it's deeper. It's something. It's something coming. It's usually staging, right? They stage these things, and then something strange carries out. Navijay, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, I'm not butchering your name. Navijar. Let's see. Jerome Swanson says, I'm a little bit late in the game. Me too. I know they dropped the charges, but I'm still fuzzy as to why. I'm still fuzzy as to why too. I'm still fuzzy as to why too. And I think even the police don't know. And what was weird is they learned as we learned, as the media learned. This the people, the real cops who were trying to do their job, they're the ones who were left in the dark. And of course they're going to respond. You think these guys are not going to come back and try to fight this? That's why I think it is. It's not a, maybe a staged event, but it's theater. It's political theater. It's a distraction, but it's not a distraction that we should just completely take off of the table. I think here we're going to get something. I think we'll get a little nugget at the very end of who was at the top of this. I know there's some good theories, but I want to see what the records say. I want to see what the documents say. So that's why it's very important to read these documents. I wanted to read these documents before I got on here tonight. Did not have time. So I will be reading a little bit, kind of skimming through it. And I just wanted to see if there was any other thing. The press conferences, if you haven't seen the press conference of the police and the mayor, I think it's worth watching. What I think is a lot of people are just gonna, a lot of people who are fans, of course his fans are gonna back him up, even though they really shouldn't. I mean, nobody should be backing this guy up on this. He should. I mean, it's common sense. It really is common sense, and it's very frustrating. Let's see. So this Kim Fox, right? Kim Fox is kind of involved in this whole thing, but this is weird. They're not dropping it because he's innocent. All right, I'm gonna read some of this again. This is from defensemaven.io, Blue Lives Matter, and it says, Smollett and his legal team held a celebratory press conference in front of the courthouse after the emergency hearing to dismiss his charges and claimed the prosecutor's decision was vindication and proof the actor had been telling the truth. However, the prosecutor who brought charges against Smollett said they weren't dropping because the actor is innocent. Quote, I do not believe he is innocent, First Assistant Cook County State's Attorney Joseph Maggots told WBBM. Maggots, interesting name. Maggots, who took over the case when Cook County State Attorney Kim Fox had to recuse herself for attempting to help his family get the investigation transferred to the FBI, which is where it could be going now. So they wanted it to go to the FBI, and now it is. Maggots said that he was the one who made the decision to drop the 16 felony counts against Smollett. And here's what he says. Based on all the facts and circumstances of this case, and also keeping in mind resources, and keeping in mind that the officer's #1 priority is to combat violent crimes and the drivers of violence, I decided to offer this disposition in the case. This is weird. Smollett performed 16 hours. That means 1 hour for every charge, right? But Smollett performed 16 hours of community service for Reverend Jussie Jackson. That guy's not a reverend. I'll tell you that right now. Jussie Jackson is no reverend. Not a real reverend. Smollett performed 16 hours of community service for Reverend Jussie Jackson's charity and forfeited his $10,000 bond to the city in exchange for having the charges dropped. Wow. $10,000. That's what it costs to get out of jail. It's very light. 16 hours is very light. You are right. You are correct. Maggots issued the further statements later in the day to clarify his position on Smollett's innocence or lack thereof and explained his decision to dismiss those charges. Here's the thing. We work to privatize violent crime and drivers of violent crime. He's already said this. Public safety is our #1 priority. I don't see Jussie Smollett as a threat to public safety, he said, according to a tweet from the New York Times. That's okay. I mean, is it a crime or is it not? Are we just not going to punish anybody who commits crime unless it's a violent crime? Why even have any laws? Why even have any cops? Why even have anybody out there looking for anything but violent crimes? And that's how bad this city is. And it's not like they have to do it. They have everything that they would need. So one of the problems would be who is going to come out of the woodworks, come out of the shadows to help Jussie Smollett if this went to trial. Because a lot of people would be forced to who probably don't want to be involved, who have a lot of interest in 2020 and beyond. And this hurts 2020. This helps Trump. So if this was an orchestration, a collusion by Trump, he did a really great job, because I think this is really going to help him. One of many things that are going to come out now. Watch for a few things, a few interesting things to come out around September or October, right before we go and vote. Watch that. Okay, so getting back to this maggot guy, maggots. Let's see what else Maggot says. He said he saw no problem with the police investigation or the evidence against the actor, but that the charges against him were dropped in return for his agreement to do community service for forfeiting his bond to the city of Chicago. This is crazy. I mean, it really is. It really is. So then that's when this morning, today is February, what is today? March 27, 2019. This morning is when these two documents were released to the Chicago Tribune. And I really encourage everybody to go and read these. I'd love to come back and discuss these more. But it really just sounds like a slam dunk case where they got him. He's guilty. He's not going to have a record now. He's not going to have anything like that. And it's just crazy. The whole thing is just ridiculous. So let's see. Aggravated battery, hands, fists, feet. Case reclassification is being done based on the fact of the case. Evidence was gathered. Well, I mean, it's hard to read. It's hard to read because it's so ridiculous. Initially, Smollett stated that while walking to his residence, he was approached by two offenders who engaged in racial and homophobic slurs directed at Smollett. The offenders then struck the victim about the face and body, causing minor injuries. Investigation revealed that a plan was formulated and put into play by Smollett to conduct a staged incident where Smollett was beaten by censored, posing as persons other than themselves. I hope those two guys, do we know those two guys' names, who they are? Because that's very important too, because they're obviously part of whatever this is. Based on the information above, RD requested the case be reclassified from an aggravated battery, hands, fists, feet, minor injury, 0440, to a public peace violations / other violations. Public peace violence. So now you can just go and pretty much create a hoax. Just make sure that you say that Donald Trump beat you up. Don't say that Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders or any of these other fools beat you up, because they won't believe it. All right, so that's what it was. So that was just the brief summary there. That's what it got changed to. Just reading one more time in case I was rambling on a little too fast. Got changed from an aggravated battery to a public peace violation. Public peace violations. Ooh, multiple violations. And he's a first-time offender. That was another thing. Because he was a first-time offender. Okay. I wonder how the officers feel. The reporting officer, Richard Hagan, star number 20606. I wonder how he feels. The approving supervisor, Murad Halim, star number 1280. How do you feel? Kimberly Murray. How does Kimberly Murray feel? Star number 20808. Wow. I mean, this pretty much shows you what you need to know about Chicago, about this deeper plan, not just to get Trump, just to get Trump out of the way, right? It's not because they're great people and they want Trump gone because Trump is bad and blah blah blah. They want it to be, they just need him gone for whatever that they're going to do, in my opinion. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try to see if there's any comments here before I keep reading on. But who does, Tiffany's Truth Evolution asks, who does community service before entering a plea or getting sentenced? Something stinks. All right. Let's see. Ask you guys to hold on for 1 second, and I will be right back. Sorry. Quick break. Everyone still there? Did you leave me? No. All right, sorry about that. I want to get to some of these other points here. Aaron Rossi says, I am mad. I mean, really mad. Yeah, I'm mad too. And I'm not sure 100% why or 100% at who yet. But yeah, I'm mad too. Whole thing is just odd. It's strange. Sorry, just carried a bunch of groceries. I'm out of breath. I got a little red table wine today. Good to have a nightcap. Let's see. Denise Q says, so if it's your first time committing murder, well, I guess right. So murder's different for them. But if you do a carjacking, anything that's non-violent, I guess, I guess that's okay. Apparently. All right, the battery's gonna die. I'm gonna read some more. Okay, so Navajar says, so they are allowed to lie to police and not be charged with obstruction of justice. Yeah, Special citizen. Sounds like a privilege. I'm sure if he was white, they'd be calling it white privilege, but since he's black and I call it black privilege, apparently that's not okay. Not like I care about what's okay, but all I care about is what's really going on to see. And it seems so simple, right? I mean, we shouldn't even really be talking about this at this point because it's all right there. Everything is laid out. Rolled out the red carpet. Said, here it is. But there was a conflict even before this case got going. So it's too bad. It's really too bad. It's sad. All right. The mayor called it a whitewash of justice. Yeah, we know that. Let's just see if there's anything else. I'm going to go through this document. So far, I'm on page 7 here. These officers, I hope the officers involved, Michael Vaughan there, Michael Thies, Vincent Session, Kimberly Murray, Muhammad Obeg, I hope they're not being censored. It'd be nice to interview them. It'd be nice to see what's going on with them. So for the witnesses, these two guys who helped create this hoax, who got paid $3,500, the witnesses, looks like they have some information. Witness number 1, right? The hoaxer, the guy who beat up Jussie Smollett, number 1. He's a male, he's black, 27 years old, date of birth 1991. Description, 5'8", 175 pounds, black hair, short hairstyle, brown eyes, dark complexion. Cell phone, this other guy had a cell phone. He had his driver's license is blocked out here. Black male, 25 years old, born 1993. It's about it, 6 foot tall, 185 pounds, black hair, fade hairstyle, brown eyes, dark complexion. And then it gives his cell phone number and driver's license. This is a public peace violation. That's what it comes down to. Really sad. Smollett is labeled as a victim here on page 7 of 22 in the Jussie Smollett report number 1. You can read that, you can download that. It should be in the description of this video right now. You can download, share it, take it, do whatever. Read it though. Look at this. But on page 7, he's the victim. Oh, city of Chicago is the victim. Okay, I was going to say, like, how could he be the victim? So now the offender, Jussie Smollett, he's the offender. He's going to sue the victim in this case, or he's threatened to sue the victim, or hasn't ruled out. Let's put it like that. He hasn't ruled out that he would sue the victim, the city of Chicago. He's not going to do that. First of all, because if you sue the city, what's that going to do? If he's supposedly helping out the city, he's been a beacon of light to this city since he was 15 years old. He's probably not going to sue them because it's money that's going to come out of the people's pocket. Bad publicity. I don't see that. Of course, obviously, he's not worried about bad publicity. He's worried about good publicity, but that didn't work in his favor. To even have this talk that we're talking about right now, there's so many other things we should be talking about. I get it, but I just kind of felt like I just want to get a few things off of my chest, maybe hear some people's views. If you have any views on this, of what you think. I know we're mad, and we need to do something with that anger, turn that anger into something positive. So I'm looking for a positive. This is the only thing I could think of, just getting online and talking about it, I guess. And to keep talking about it, maybe we'll do a conference call on this too. So, see, that might be all for the first one. Manner and motive. Oh, let's look at this. This is good. With wine, you have to let it breathe a little bit. You have to let it age. Sometimes these stories need to age, and it's better when it ages. I rushed this story. So I'm reading, learning, sharing, and going through all of this. after 10 hours at work. So here we go. Manner and motive. The victim was walking to his residence when he was approached by two offenders who engaged in racial and homophobic slurs directed at the victim. The offenders then struck the victim about the face and body, causing minor injuries, undetermined motive, possible hate crime. Now let's get into the investigation. On February 2nd, the RD was directed to attempt to recover video from security cameras at 1414 North Wells Street. And they met with, okay, so there's a few people that are redacted out of here. They try to get those cameras. I think we kind of know about all the cameras. They try to get multiple cameras, and I guess didn't really have too much luck. During the review of the recovered video, noted on the file, blah, blah, blah. Okay, love to get that file. I don't know. I wonder if that file is out there. This video is out there outside of Oroso's, maybe a street camera. Okay, bottom portion of a vehicle consistent. So in this camera, they observed the bottom portion of a vehicle consistent with a Toyota Highlander heading southbound on Wells Street. That vehicle is still observable heading southbound at the start of the video. Okay, what does that have to do with anything? Not really sure yet, but vehicle consistent with Sun Taxi number 904 heads southbound on North Wells Street. Oh, this is good, okay. Through the intersection with Schiller and continues south out of the view of camera. Orso's camera 6, which looks to the west down West Schiller Street, does not appear to activate for when the vehicles of interest are driving on North Wells Street. Okay. Well, I want to get to something good here. I was hoping that would have a little more. Still going through the 22 pages, just looking at it. They interviewed another witness. A lot of this is blocked out. So around page 13, if we look at page 13, there's just lots of things are blacked out, but I think it's just names. I think it looks like they're just looking at the cameras, at the street cameras. It's still hard to believe they're calling this a public peace violation. Okay. Wow. That might be all for this document here. Then I might move on to the next one. Okay, so then they go into the camera where they show that where the two people, what they were buying, the two witnesses. They're called witnesses. Later on, they're referred to as victims. Wouldn't they be accomplices? Wouldn't these two people who beat up Jussie Smollett, if they were all working together, that's another weird thing that I always thought was weird from the first time that I heard about this case is, why are they treating these two guys as victims? Why aren't these guys in trouble too? Are they all connected, just to different groups or something? I don't know. It's really odd. And it's still odd. So this other video around page, what page is this? Around page 16, they're going through how these two guys walk into a store. Instead of ordering it online, right? Probably could have ordered a lot of this stuff online. But they walk into a store that has cameras, buy all this stuff, a face mask, a knit cap, gloves, a red hat, and sunglasses. And I wonder if I'm trying to see if they say anything weird to the clerk. If the clerk notices anything suspicious. Doesn't look like it. That's interesting too. Okay, so here it says the subject enters the store and begins shopping. Remember, one of the victims. At approximately 9:50:25 DVR time, subject, now known as, enters the store. Okay, so they enter separately. These two witnesses, who are really accomplices, enter separately. Shows the subject walk over to register area and then exit the store via the front doors. That's kind of... Why enter separately? Okay. Camera channel 5 inside the rear area of the store did not observe subjects in view. How many cameras are in this place? Okay, so it's just showing when they're seeing everybody. Go into the store, buy all of this MAGA gear, and then head out. Oh, this is interesting here. Okay, so once they leave the store, both subjects walk to the silver Mercedes vehicle from which they arrived, with the subject now known. Oh, there's three of them? There's three people. Who's this third person on page 17? Now we're getting somewhere. So both subjects walked to the silver Mercedes vehicle from which they arrived, with the subject now known to be censored entering the driver's side and the subject now known to be entering the passenger side. Oh, okay. So this is just saying who the two people are, not that there's a third person. Okay, sorry. No third man, but except for Jussie Smollett. A few minutes later, the vehicle attempts to back out of the parking space but appears to become stuck. The subject, now known as censored, exits the passenger side and begins to push the vehicle. An unknown citizen who had parked next to them appears to assist in pushing the vehicle, which is then able to back out of the parking space. The subject, now known as censored, re-enters the passenger side, and the vehicle exits the field of view of the camera, driving northbound towards West Wilson Avenue at 10:14:42 hours. So they got this nice Mercedes, but it gets stuck. Some unknown citizen who parked next to them helps them push the car. That's, I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Just seems kind of weird to me. Just going through, see if there's anything else here. Nothing more. Moving on to page 18. See anything interesting there? Doesn't look like much. And okay, we're now at page 21. Again, we hear about the aggravated battery. So now they're reviewing the camera, another camera, CCTV surveillance camera. I wonder if this is the one mentioned in all the reports. Video was accessed by camera. Okay, let's go. Anything here? It's a black Mercedes driven by Smollett that's mentioned. That's for sure. And I think that's about it. So I hope there's more to this than what we're reading here. Okay, so I've gone through the 22 pages, the first one, not really too much there, just a nice breakdown if you want to get to know some of the background. So what's this other 39 pager? I'm glad they got these two documents out, but I'm also curious to see what the other ones are. Okay, just goes their names, the victims, and the offender, and the witnesses. So the offender is Jussie Smollett. The victim is the city of Chicago for costing them money, etc., all that. And the witness are these two guys who are accomplices. I think that's kind of interesting. I don't think that's right. All right. So now I'm on the 39 pager, looking at page 3, not too much there, some blacked out stuff. Page 4, see if there's anything new. They're still looking at video. They're looking for all this video. There's a lot of video that they looked for that they could not get of what happened in this case. Well, because it was a hoax, I guess, right? So let me go back there. I lost my place. Nothing on page 4. Looking at page 5. Doesn't look like too much there. Yeah, definitely hope that they release a lot more than just this, because it's just the same old thing over and over again. But the manner, the motive is clear, that Jussie Smollett made false police reports and things that could be considered a hate crime. So, looks like that might be about it. Going down page 12, 13. It's like the same stuff over and over again. Another camera. Yep. Chicago South Loop Hotel. So they met with somebody at the hotel. A female. Attorney Gloria Schmidt, and had her on speakerphone for the duration of the interview. So they're interviewing this person. And this is where the $3,500 check comes from. Okay. And so the witness here on page 15, if you're looking at page 15, it's a female. She's interviewed by the police, and the attorney is there. And this person, oh, do they really have her name here? Oh, no, okay. Would like to go this, okay, there's a $3,500 check tendered to, censored by Jussie Smollett, and had some follow-up questions. So now we're going to go through that. After a quick search of TCF Bank, the reporting officer learned that TCF Bank was closed for Washington's birthday. Okay. It's kind of stolen, but that's all right. There's another $100 bill mentioned by Smollett that was provided to them to buy the rope mask. Okay, so the $100. So he gave them $3,500 and then separately a $100 bill. I don't know. It seems like a pretty simple open and shut case. And I'm hoping they do end up taking this to the federal level. It sounds like that's what certain people wanted anyways. So we'll see where that goes. That might be all for this one, folks. Just going to see if there's anything else of value, or else shut this down till Friday. Alright, where are we at? I'm on page 21 now. Still talking about the $3,500 check. Alright, nothing of value there, nothing of value there. Wow. Why would they care if all this was released? Oh, well, here's where they... Page 22. You now have the officer, one of the officers is talking to the two witnesses, I'm guessing. They're talking about the area in which Smollett drove after Censored was picked up on January 25th. So he was driving with them. So Smollett was driving with the two witnesses is what it looks like. Censored stated Smollett pulled up in the alley and Censored entered the vehicle, and Smollett drove around the block, utilizing Montrose Avenue and Ashland Avenue. Smollett then drove off. So that's their meeting. That puts them all in the same place. Based on this, it's kind of like two people's word against one person's word. So if there's this slam dunk case, those are the documents that we're all going to want to see. So those are the ones that we're going to be looking for as well. I think that's about it. There's really not too much more here that I'm seeing, unless you guys are seeing anything else in the documents. But you never know. So I guess, yeah, a lot of this is just the same. It's literally the same document over and over again, almost. Just some with a new witness or something like that. But pretty much all the same stuff. $3,500. We get down to page 26. and it just kind of dies. And I guess everything is just supposed to die there. Okay, so let's get to where where he's arrested. That's what I want to see. Yes. So they find the two witnesses. They go take them in front of the grand jury. So they testify in front of the grand jury. Jussie Smollett and his attorney requested a meeting with Cook County State's attorneys in the morning on February 20th, 2019 to discuss new information they had concerning this case. ASA Nick Trutenko related the state's attorney's office. That's a typo, I don't know. Related the state's attorney's office thought it was prudent to postpone the grand jury appearance of censored. They're trying to postpone the grand jury appearance. I wonder why. Until this new information was received and reviewed. So maybe this is at this point, this is when they're learning. This is when Smollett and his attorney are learning about this. And of course, anyone who's supporting them and backing them up, and anyone who's going to help Smollett get his name cleared, which really is never going to be cleared because either you did it or you didn't do it. That's it. It's not too much more to it. It's one or the other. So if he's guilty, he should apologize, do his time, and move on. And let that be a lesson for other people who try to pull this crap. Because it won't just be done with Trump. It could be done with anybody. It could be done at any time. And if certain people know that they can do this and get away with it, you're going to create some major problems. It is a great way to stir up anger, to stir up hatred, to divide this country, to cause more problems, instead of really bringing people together, looking beyond this. So it's pretty evil to me. And this Smollett guy is just a piece of shit, just a piece of work. And that really frustrates me. That one really frustrates me. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. We need more documents. We need more than this. So this is continuing. I'm trying to see what date this was. Everything seems like it's on track, and then all of a sudden, I want the documents that show why. I mean, we kind of went over why this happened, or why Jussie Smollett was let out. He was let off of the hook, basically, because it wasn't a violent crime. That's what they're telling you. That's what they're saying. It was not a violent crime, so good to go. And I believe that's about it here. A lot of this other stuff is just all gobbledygook. Let's try to see in the investigation pages if there's anything more of relevance. There's an interview on... Okay, there's an interview with Jussie Smollett and his attorneys. Oh, the interview had been scheduled for February 20th at approximately 1400 hours. The interview was to take place at the Office of Attorney located in Chicago. In an attempt to further this investigation, using information available at the time, Detective Thies prepared a search warrant for the person of Jussie Smollett. This search warrant was sent to the Felony Review Section of the Cook County State's Attorney Office, where ASA Bill Reardon reviewed and approved the search warrant, assigning it search warrant number 19SW5224. The detective then proceeded to the Cook County Criminal Court building, located at 2650 South California Avenue in Chicago, where he went to the Chief Judge's office and was assigned the Honorable Judge Cannon for review of the search warrant. All right, so now they're searching Jussie's house. They're searching him February 20th after they interview these two people, the two witnesses, really two accomplices. Come on. I mean, it was all weird. The whole thing was weird from the very start. So, and they met with met with Chicago police personnel for the purpose of conducting the interview with Jussie Smollett. Chicago police personnel also were present. Okay, so there was 5 other officers present as well. See the progress supplementary report by Detective Jessica for the specifics of this meeting. We need that report. I think we really need that report there. I think that would be good to have. Okay, so Navajar says, according to the BBC, it says the charges were dropped in return for Mr. Smollett's agreement to do community service and forfeit his $10,000 bond to the city of Chicago. Interesting. So he paid his way out. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he paid his way out pretty much, but um, it's ridiculous. So I guess what we have two different views of why the charges were dropped, because that's the one that I heard too. But then in this article, this this Blue Lives Matter article that I read, kind of says something a little bit different there. So curious. Jerome Swanson says, you think this is just an elaborate attempt to get attention on Mr. Smollett's part that backfired? No, I don't, Jerome. No, I think it's something different. I think it's something bigger. I think it goes deeper than just Smollett and even Barack Obama. I do think this goes pretty deep. I think it's not a coincidence that we're seeing multiple issues like this all happening within the same time, within the same period. That's a program, most likely. Not just random things that are just happening coincidentally. It is a program, from my view. Okay, Navajar says, if the charges are dropped, then why he got community service? Yeah, I don't understand that either. I really don't understand that. It's really us. I'm gonna get my cat here in a second. Navajar, that he paid them 10,000. Yeah, he paid his way out. I can't argue with that. Tell the truth. What's up, man? Or what's up, whoever you are, telling the truth. Keep telling the truth. Excuse me. It says, having money means you will run away with murder, assault, and all vile things. Absolutely. Let me just let my cat in. I'll be right back. Coming in? Come on. Let's go. All right. You're okay. We're almost done. You've had food. You've had everything. Everything you could want. Spoiled little kitty. Huh? All right. So we'll be wrapping this up here. So let me just make sure there's nothing else that I missed. Let me make sure there's nothing else that I missed here. Page 32. All right. Where are we at? Not much more there. I don't know. I guess stay tuned. Stay tuned and we will see. Testified before the grand jury. So the two people, I guess, testified before the grand jury. I'm not sure how many there were. But after Censored finished his testimony, he was brought to an office within room 406. Censored stated to RD and Detective Curtin that it felt good that he told the truth, but still felt that the Chicago police may want to charge him. Oh yeah, why wouldn't they? They should. I would think so. After the testimony of Censored concluded, Detective Thies was notified by ASA Nick that the Cook County State's Attorney's Office was prepared to approve felony charges of disorderly conduct against Jussie Smollett. Wow. The detective was told to call the felony review section of the Cook County State's Attorney Office for approval. The detective called and spoke with ASA Robert Mack, who gave an approval for one count of felony disorderly conduct at 1810 hours. Wow. Yeah, well, there you go. 16 felonies. All dropped. Paid $10,000. Crazy. Crazy. 16 hours. Community service. Yeah, I can understand why people are mad. I can understand why people are frustrated. I get it. All right, so let's go ahead and gonna shut this down here. I think I've said that like 5 times now. And make sure that there's nothing else. Goes on the 21st, February 21st. Smollett turns himself in. Surprised they didn't kick down his door. Smollett turned himself in at 500 hours in the 1st District. All right, that's page 33. You know, they always save the good stuff at the very end, but here we are at page 36, nothing. 37, nothing. Okay. We're getting into page 37. I mean, there should be a whole big thing about what happened. I want to know from each hour what happened. Maybe that's the stuff that is being redacted or being censored or whatever it is, which is very, very strange. You think it's strange too? I know you do. Come here. You're a strange one too. All right, really gonna wrap this up. Let's see. Smollett declined to answer questions. At that point, the attorney was asked to leave the interview room. Attorney asked if Chicago police would release Smollett, promising he would show up at bond court. So Smollett didn't want to answer any questions and stayed with him. The attorney stayed with him during the booking process and rode with him to Cook County Jail. Wow. The attorney was formed. Okay. So the attorney, Glandian. Attorney's name is Glandian. That part was probably supposed to be taken out because all of the other ones were taken out, maybe. And this attorney was told that that would not be possible. Okay. So Smollett was allowed to remain in the interview room. What is wrong? Come here. All right, we're done. I understand. Okay, everyone. I'll shut this down. I'll see you all